Hey guys, what's up? It's Crypto Frank here to give you these cryptocurrency updates, and today we are going to do an extensive analysis of Ethereum and in general altcoins and why I believe for a wide range of reasons they are going to outperform Bitcoin and potentially quite significantly over the coming months. We're going to look at a whole bunch of charts, including the Bitcoin dominance chart, the Bitcoin chart, of course, which is very important because it signals how people feel about the market, and when people get bored of Bitcoin, then they start looking at Ethereum over here. We're going to look at this Ethereum cup and handle structure, which is a bullish structure suggesting further upside. We are, of course, going to look at the ETH BTC chart to look at the ratio between Ethereum to Bitcoin and to see if we have any support here. We're going to look at the total too, which is the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies excluding Bitcoin, and see what happens. Last time we saw similar activity as we're seeing on the RSI as we are now. We're going to have a look at the global market caps again, look at how Ethereum compared to all the other coins and how it compared to Bitcoin to again see if history repeats itself, what that might look like over the coming months. With that technical analysis and price action out the way, we're going to look at just briefly the major updates for Ethereum, but also some of the more recent news about Ethereum potentially overtaking Bitcoin. This has been the narrative over the past week or so in the news. We're going to look at the Flippening. This is a fun page, looking at how Ethereum compares versus Bitcoin on a number of metrics and seeing how it's actually outperforming Bitcoin on a large number of these metrics. Here's a great article on Yahoo Finance about a range of people commenting on Ethereum and how it might be better than Bitcoin and why it might be better, or at least perform better than Bitcoin over the coming months during this year. And in the most recent Ethereum news, we're going to see how the low supply on exchanges could drive up the price. And finally, we're going to look at the on-chain metrics and how they are highlighting growing propositions. So guys, it takes quite a while to gather up all these resources and analyze them. If you like this video, if you appreciate this type of content, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so the first interesting thing to note is that Bitcoin is down 4.26% over the past week. Now, if we look at the top 100 coins and order them by the 7-day percentage move, you can see that almost all of them, the overwhelming majority, are not only doing better than a -4%, but are actually in the green. And I've actually counted the number of coins which are performing worse than Bitcoin in the top 100. That's coming down from here. I counted it, it's only 20 coins out of the top 100. So what that means is that 80% of the top 100 coins have performed better than Bitcoin over the past 7 days. And again, in this video, I'm going to show you why I think this trend which has started is likely to continue. So looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we notice something interesting. First of all, I've outlined the bull market, which took place from approximately January 2016 to January 2018. And this is, of course, the Bitcoin dominance chart. So Bitcoin dominance went down significantly during that bull market. In fact, we had two big dumps during that bull market for the Bitcoin dominance. It fell 57% and then it fell 51%. So again, for those of you who don't know, Bitcoin dominance represents how much Bitcoin is dominating the market. What percentage of the whole cryptocurrency market is represented by Bitcoin. Now, the reason why Bitcoin fell so dramatically is because when people get bullish, when people are buying cryptocurrency, then Bitcoin starts by being dominant because it's the main cryptocurrency. But as people get bored of Bitcoin and as people want to gain more risk exposure, when they're more certain that the market is bullish, then they tend to get bored of Bitcoin and buy altcoins, okay? Now, the bear market, of course, was great for Bitcoin dominance because people want to take risk off of the market. And of course, this was when Bitcoin really rose to its highs in terms of Bitcoin dominance. But something very interesting has happened right now. Look at this level, the 71%. We have had 3 resistances marked by these hammers over here, 3 times that it has failed to cross that level, and now it is going down. Now, if we see another dump, let's say approximately the same as we saw before, Bitcoin dominance could fall to its previous lows of 33%. Now, it is common in bull markets for money to start flowing into riskier assets, and of course, Ethereum and all the altcoins represent riskier assets. So I think it's very unlikely that Bitcoin dominance will maintain its strength over the coming months as the bull market progresses. As you can see right now, we're struggling to hold support at the 60, and the more times we hit this support, the more likely we are to break it and then, you know, where we come down next is anyone's guess, but some potential support might be potentially at this trend line, or also we might meet that trend line with another trend line over here, the previous low. You see multiple times we tried to hold the 50%, but you know, even if Bitcoin dominance falls just 20%, that's going to be huge for the altcoin market. Okay, moving on now to Bitcoin. So as I mentioned, when Bitcoin gets boring, people invest in altcoins. We saw Ethereum have a huge bump up during Bitcoin's previous consolidation here at the beginning of January. During this time, Ethereum actually outperformed Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin from the 8th of January and look at its performance until the end of this period, until the 1st of February, Bitcoin fell by 21% during this period while it was consolidating. So Ethereum during this period, 9th of January to the 1st of February, let's look at what happened here. Ethereum actually gained 15%, all right? So while Bitcoin was dumping, Ethereum actually gained in value. And now, of course, we're seeing something very similar play out. You see we had this triangular consolidation structure from which we actually broke bearish, but then, you know, we consolidated more and then pumped. So something very similar could potentially happen here, where this consolidation structure continues and then maybe we see a dump. You know, even if we go up, we still have this resistance, potential resistance up at this line at 63,000. So this consolidation, you know, could expand like this, and it could just go up and down within this range. But the more that Bitcoin stays within a range, in other words, if it fails to fall a lot, if it fails to go up a lot, then the more likely it is that Ethereum will see another big move. Now, coming to the Ethereum chart, we are seeing a consolidation. And if we look at the previous consolidations marked by these green boxes here, here, actually it's more clear to see on the 4-hour chart. In other words, these are areas where the price has not moved significantly up or significantly down, and it's just been staying within a range, all right? We've had multiple times that this has happened, and every time that this has happened in the bull run, Ethereum has actually increased in value. It's broken out of this consolidation structure and moved upwards, all right? So there's every reason to believe that this will happen again. And if we do believe that, then of course, the fact of the matter is that we are close to the bottom of this consolidation structure, offering a pretty good risk to reward on a trade here. So, you know, if you were to enter here, as I myself personally have, and you stop out, you know, you just have about a 5% loss over here. And, you know, I'm personally targeting around $3,000 for the first leg up, but really for my longer term portfolio holdings, I'm targeting more than 3,000 even. But even this, it's ridiculous risk to reward of almost 15 to 1. Furthermore, on Ethereum, we are seeing this cup and handle pattern, all right? So cup and handle pattern is where the price goes down a fair bit, it goes up, either it retests the previous highs or it gets almost there, and then it creates this handle pattern where it sort of grinds just below that previous high, and then we see another leg up. So we are seeing that pattern here for Ethereum, and it is quite possible that this will play out bullish. And of course, if we break this downward sloping trend line and go up, then that would mean, of course, that we would have more upward price momentum. And in general, one way to measure how high we could go from there is to simply do a measured move for this whole move up and then extrapolate that onto here. That would take us to 2,600 already. So, you know, it looks pretty bullish in terms of technical analysis for Ethereum. That being said, guys, just to be fair, if we do come down here and we break below 1,700, yeah, it does not look good for Ethereum. And, you know, the next support will be down, well, 15 to 20% possibly below that. So that is something to keep in mind. But the trend is your friend, and until we break the 1,700 level, we should remain bullish, as this is the direction that we are going in. Now, before we get on to the exciting Ethereum news, have a look at this ETH BTC chart. Now here, according to the ETH BTC chart, we are also at a potentially good support level. As you can see, we have struggled to break below the 0.03 mark over here. We've tested it multiple times. So again, if we break through this, it does not look good. We will probably see another move down. But, you know, the ETH BTC chart, in other words, how Ethereum has been performing compared to Bitcoin, is bullish. It has been bullish since August 2019. We had this first move up. Once we broke that, we officially entered an uptrend. So ever since the beginning of 2020, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin. So there's no reason to believe that this will end just yet. And if you do believe that, then as you can see, based on the VPVR over here, which basically shows all the volume within a price range, This is a perfect time to buy. This is actually at the very bottom of the high VPVR range. In other words, the high value nodes over here. And this is really textbook buy signal over here. Once we fall below this, it does not look pretty. You know, we will fall another sort of 20%, but the trend is going up. We've had a correction, so why would we not see another continuation of this uptrend? Now here we're looking at total 2, which is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. And you see something interesting on the RSI here. We touched this sort of 96, 97 region, and then we rejected from it and came down. Now, the last bull run in 2017, we tested that multiple times, 3 times, and from the very beginning, we entered this massive, massive bull run. And we came down and we corrected, well, we corrected once at 72, then we corrected several times at the 65. And now we've corrected at the 72. So, you know, if history were to repeat itself, we would see a massive move as we saw in the past. Now, this was a 27,000% increase. I'm not saying we're going to see that, but it certainly is interesting to note that the RSI is overextended, but this is exactly what is normal, or what has been normal in previous bull markets. And again, this bull market for cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin was 27,000% in terms of its size. And of course, Ethereum led this rally, and there's no reason to believe that Ethereum will not lead the next rally. Furthermore, we are currently in price discovery mode. What does that mean? That means that we are at all-time highs and there is no resistance up above. And this means that the path of least resistance is upwards. Furthermore, we have this previous resistance at the $455 billion mark. We crossed through that as if it was nothing, sliced through it like it was butter, came down, found support, and bounced up again. So really, it's just looking very, very bullish for altcoins. Okay, final chart before we get on to the fundamental analysis. This is the percentage of total market capitalization according to coinmarketcap.com. Now look at the Ethereum dominance right now. Ethereum dominance is just 12%, all right, just below 12%, but it reached an all-time high of 37.84%. So in other words, Ethereum could represent up to 3 times more of the market. So in other words, even if Bitcoin price stays exactly where it is, Ethereum could triple in price from here. And that would take it to $4,800, all right? Again, I repeat, Bitcoin doesn't have to go anywhere. Bitcoin could stay at its level of $58,000 and Ethereum could go up to $4,800. This has happened in the past and this could happen again, okay? Now, another interesting trend which we're seeing here is that the others, which represent all cryptocurrencies other than Ethereum and Bitcoin, is currently at 15%. And the others also saw a much more significant high than this in the past, up at 35%. And it's interesting to note that, you know, Ethereum led the previous rally going up, but then actually the others outperformed Ethereum for a long time. Then Ethereum came back with a vengeance at the beginning of this year, but now the others are starting to slowly outperform Ethereum. So it's quite possible that, you know, we'll see a lot of low and mid caps altcoins pumping pretty hard before we see Ethereum pump. And just a quick reminder of you, for those who are not aware, Ethereum has a massive ecosystem. Yes, ADA and DOT, or Cardano and Polkadot, are contenders, but Ethereum has built up this ecosystem over 5 years now. There's a lot of companies, exchanges, auditors, events, corporate testing, infrastructure, all sorts of different things going on with Ethereum, all sorts of people who are contributing to the Ethereum network. So it's just to remind you of how big and how powerful Ethereum is. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard about Ethereum's EIP 1559. This, of course, is going to happen in July. And what this means is that the gas fee will be sent to the network itself as a sort of burn called the base fee. So this will potentially decrease the supply of Ethereum and make it a deflationary asset. And this, of course, would be amazing for Ethereum. So I think it's very likely this will lead to a massive bull run leading up to July. Furthermore, we don't even necessarily have to wait until then, because Vitalik has suggested that we could already see 100x scaling solutions for Ethereum soon. So these are, of course, coming in the form of roll-ups, and they are a really powerful scaling solution that will tide the smart contracts platform over ahead of its ETH2 upgrade. Furthermore, Ethereum could overtake Bitcoin according to a Messari analyst. So Ryan Watkins here is saying that Bitcoin's unique selling point as a store of value asset is the fact that its monetary policy is very predictable. He goes on to say that I think that the shift to Ethereum 2.0 and proof of stake, which is kind of like a new way of securing the Ethereum blockchain, means that Ethereum may actually be more secure than Bitcoin. This is quite a big claim to make, quite an audacious claim to make. Bitcoin has been around for more than twice the amount of time that Ethereum has, but of course it's a fast-changing industry and it's very possible that things do change quite dramatically. Watkins pointed out that the new monetary policy brought out by Ethereum 2.0 would lead to ETH being a deflationary asset, as I mentioned before, as more of the token supply is burned every year. Now, this was the part which really stood out to me the most. The way Ethereum becomes money is not actually by being adopted by countries as a currency. The way it becomes money is actually by building its own economy. And this is true, you have all these apps being built on Ethereum, this whole network being created on Ethereum, whereas Bitcoin doesn't have its own network. It has people adopting Bitcoin, people in countries, buying Bitcoin, using it as a store of value. But Ethereum has its own personal economy with all these arms spreading out everywhere, connecting all these people and all these organizations and companies and dApps and everything. So it really is very, very different from Bitcoin. Furthermore, data from Blockchain Center shows that Ethereum has already surpassed Bitcoin in terms of node count, transaction count, and total transaction fees. Now, this is according to a really nifty website here called The Flippening by blockchaincenter.net. And here they list a number of metrics which compare Ethereum to Bitcoin. As you can see, Ethereum has more transactions than Bitcoin, has more total transaction fees, and it has more nodes. Furthermore, Ethereum is currently only 20% of Bitcoin market cap. Nevertheless, it has 56% of its trading volume, 51% of the active addresses, and 76% of the transactions volume. So the only thing which is missing is people searching for it and people buying it, all right? So all the data is here to show that Ethereum should be worth more than it is, especially compared to Bitcoin. It's just a matter of when and how people will find out. So according to this Yahoo Finance article, Bitcoin could boom 430%, but Ethereum may still steal its thunder. As they mention here, before the Bitcoin bull run, DeFi was a strong competitor as the most dominant story in crypto. I remember that. I have some friends who made a hell of a lot of money in DeFi. And the Bank of America published a report titled Bitcoin's Dirty Little Secrets. Now, it's kind of interesting because usually you hear institutions saying how, or at least some of the newer institutions saying how Bitcoin could be a store of value, but Bank of America are saying not so much Bitcoin, but maybe altcoins. Listen to this. Bitcoin is the most talked about cryptocurrency, but Ethereum has more features, including being more flexible in its hosting of decentralized finance than the Bitcoin blockchain. DeFi, however, shows the opportunity which the distributed ledger technology offers to finance. We believe that one of the best differences against being disintermediated by DeFi would be mainstream finance grasping these opportunities. According to CEO of Coinmatics, Bitcoin with its limited emission is rather a tool for saving and paying. Ethereum in turn is a tool for real usage of blockchain technology in third-party projects. Furthermore, chief market analyst at TrendSpider says that in previous cycles we have seen Ethereum catch up to Bitcoin growth when Bitcoin begins to correct because the profits taken from Bitcoin are cycled into altcoins. As I mentioned before, during these consolidations, people use their Bitcoin profits and start investing them in altcoins. He goes on to say that because Ethereum is 1 to 2 cycles back from Bitcoin in its growth cycle, it makes sense that return on the laggard would outperform the larger market cap of Bitcoin from here. Now, institutions were the reason why Bitcoin has been booming for many, many months, but we are starting to see some very strong signs that Ethereum is maybe just at the very beginning of this institutional boom. Have a look at this. Institutional investors are already getting on board with Ethereum. Just recently, Grayscale, the world's largest crypto asset manager, purchased more Ethereum than Bitcoin for a change. Furthermore, Chinese firm Meitu also grabbed 15,000 of Ether not too long ago. Galaxy Digital's ETH funds raised $32 million in less than a month. And the launch of the Ethereum futures on the CME, the launch of Canadian ETH ETFs, we are just scratching the surface here. I anticipate a further surge of institutional investments in Ethereum this is just the beginning, according to Greenberg. In more Ethereum news, the low supply on exchanges could drive up the Ethereum price. So research from Santiment has determined that Ethereum's supply radius on exchange platforms is at a 28-month low. So what this means is that there is less Ethereum on exchanges, which implies that less people are interested in selling Ethereum. In order to sell Ethereum, you need to put it onto an exchange to sell it, right? So if we're at a 28-month low in terms of Ethereum on exchanges, it means that if people are buying Ethereum on the exchange and then withdrawing it from the exchange because they have no intention on selling it anytime soon. And of course, it's more secure to hold your Ethereum and your cryptocurrencies outside of an exchange. As Santiment mentioned here, we generally look for relative drops in exchange supply compared to previous months as an indication of safety from major isolated sells for crypto assets. So shout out to Santiment for this great data which they're providing us. More on-chain data is showing that it appears that investors have been eager to acquire Ether around the $1,800 mark. They say it is evident that a sizable amount of Ether, 14.26 million, had been previously bought by 1.09 million addresses within the $1,772 to the $1,826 mark. Therefore, this price range is expected to act as strong support given the high amount of buying activity. And as you can see from the chart here on Ethereum, this level, as I mentioned before, the $1,700 level, has acted as support multiple times, and there's no reason to believe that it's going to break unless, of course, we test it again and again. And of course, the more times we test it, the more scary it gets. So, every time the price gets lower towards this range, it does get a bit scary, but odds certainly favor the bulls from here. Another interesting point to note is that Ethereum's fees not only outperform Bitcoin in terms of being $8 billion in annualized fees, but they significantly outperform Bitcoin, which only has $2.3 billion in fees. This contrast highlights Ethereum's growing utility and the reason why it is often referred to as digital oil. So guys, that's been it from me for today. I personally have an absolute mental amount of Ethereum because I do not only hold most of my net worth in cryptocurrency, but I've also got several leveraged positions on different exchanges, buying Bitcoin and mostly Ethereum, also some Binance because Binance looks pretty bullish right now to me. But yeah, that's the way I see the market right now. It's important to be aware of the risks. We could very easily fail and Ethereum could drop. But the fact of the matter is that even if Ethereum does drop below this $1,700 mark, I strongly believe that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin in 2021. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.